All right, welcome everyone. You are definitely in for something different today. We're doing a deep dive, a real whip check on probably the most talked about vehicle maybe ever, the Tesla Cybertruck.
Oh, absolutely. Years of hype, that design.
Mm,
You either love it or hate it, right?
exactly. And performance numbers that just sound, well, insane. All from Tesla, the company that, enjoyed shaking things up.
It's definitely stirred the pot, and now the reviews are finally rolling in from people who've actually spent time with it. We can finally get past the crazy look and see what's really going on.
That's the plan for this whip check. We've really dug into some key reviews, specifically Doug Demuro's video, the one 2024 Tesla Cybertruck review. This is just plain cool.
Classic Doug. Very thorough.
And also living with the Tesla Cybertruck so you don't have to, from autofocus, which is great because they actually lived with it for a while.
Right, that longer-term perspective is super valuable, not just first impressions.
Totally. So our mission here is to pull out the most interesting bits, the surprises, the quirks, cut through all the noise and just give you the good stuff about what it's really like to experience this thing.
Yeah, what does it feel like day to day? Beyond the spec sheet.
Okay, let's jump right in with the elephant in the room. Or maybe the stainless steel triangle in the room. The exterior. Doug's absolutely ridiculous description. Pretty spot on.
It really is something else.
Yeah.
There's angles everywhere.
Yeah.
Like the only curves of the wheels.
Seriously. And he even mentioned, the edges can be legitimately sharp. You could maybe cut yourself.
Yeah, I saw that too. Talk about sharp design lines, huh? It's bold. Maybe a bit too bold for practicality sometimes.
And that stainless steel body. No paint. It looks like something out of Blade Runner, doesn't it?
It definitely has a look. But there are those reports coming out already.
Right. About, weird spots showing up. Rust. On stainless steel.
Yeah, surface stuff. Apparently it's led some people to, immediately get their brand new truck wrapped. Which kind of defeats the purpose of the tough steel, doesn't it?
It does seem odd. You buy this supposedly indestructible thing, and then you have to protect it immediately.
Makes you wonder about the long-term reality of that finish.
But Doug did point out some subtle details. Like the rear view mirrors, they're triangular too.
Following the theme. Consistent, you gotta give them that.
And the windshield, oh my God, it's enormous. Just this huge slab of glass.
Panoramic view, I bet.
For sure. But the wiper, it's one single massive blade mounted vertically on the side.
Vertically, why?
Aerodynamics, apparently.
Yeah.
Tesla says a normal wiper setup messes with the airflow, hurts the range, plus it keeps the front looking clean, I guess.
Okay, aero makes sense for EVs. But how well does one giant vertical wiper actually clear that massive windshield? Especially the corners.
Good question. And it creates these huge A-pillars, big blind spots potentially, even with those little extra windows down low.
Yeah, that's often the trade-off with those super swept-back windshield designs. You gain aero, maybe lose some visibility.
And branding, almost non-existent. You won't find big Tesla T's anywhere.
Really none.
Nope. Just these tiny, subtle Foundation Series badges on the early ones. Very low-key. The truck shape does all the talking, I guess.
That fits the minimalist vibe, doesn't it? Let the design shout for itself.
And the wheels. Remember those crazy geometric covers from the reveal?
Yeah, the sci-fi looking ones.
Gone. Recalled. Apparently they were damaging the tires.
Seriously? Oh, wow.
Yeah. So now they just have these, Doug called them generic-looking alloys underneath. Fine, but not exactly the futuristic look they promised.
Huh. So function over form won that battle. Less cool, probably safer.
Even the little cutout for the blind spot camera on the front wheel arch, it's triangular.
Of course it is.
And the charge port's hidden on the rear wheel arch. Panel slides open, reveals this cool little illuminated Cybertruck outline.
Okay, that's a neat touch. They definitely thought about the details, even if the overall thing is a lot.
The lights are pretty unique, too, that big front light bar. The turn signals are actually hidden lower down.
Okay.
And the rear, this is weird. The headlights turn on a full-width light bar back there. But when you hit the brakes, the whole bar turns off.
It turns off.
Yeah. And then smaller, regular brake lights on the edges light up. Doug just said it was strange. An odd choice.
That does sound odd. Might confuse people falling behind, maybe.
Could be. And that rear view mirror situation, since the bed cover blocks the back window.
Right, the tonneau cover, which closes electrically, right, and helps range.
Exactly. Power to know, Tesla claims a 10% range boost when it's closed. So your rear view mirror, it's a camera feed on a screen.
Makes sense. Necessary, really.
Yeah. The tonneau cover itself is cool, but the tailgate, powers down, which is nice, but you gotta lift it back up manually.
No power up.
Nope.
Yeah.
Soft close, though. But the big miss, no bed step. Like, how do you
Huh.
get in the bed easily? It's pretty high.
Oof, yeah, that's a basic truck feature. Seems like an oversight for sure.
The bed itself has some cool stuff, though. Power outlets, both regular and heavy duty.
Okay, that's useful. Mobile power source.
Yep. And that locking tonneau cover they call the vault. Bed lights. And this hidden trunk in the floor of the bed.
In the floor, like the
Oh.
Ridgeline or Maverick.
Kind of, yeah. With a drain plug. So, perfect for ice and drinks, maybe?
Huh. Tailgating special. Nice. And tie downs.
Plenty of those. Oh, and the door handles. Hidden.
Where?
Front ones are buttons on the black pillar between the doors. Rear ones are buttons on the side panel near the window. Press them. Door pops open electronically.
Electronic doors. Is there a backup?
Thankfully, yes. Manual release somewhere.
Good. Okay, let's climb inside then. What's the cabin like? As crazy as the outside.
Doug said not quite as insane, but still. Radically minimalist. Even more so than other Teslas, maybe.
More minimal than a Model 3. Wow.
Yeah, and angles everywhere inside, too. The steering wheel isn't even round. It's like a square with rounded corners, a squircle.
A snorkel steering wheel. Okay, that's different.
But here's the really wild part. It's steer-by-wire.
Okay. No physical connection.
Right. And get this. Only half a turn lock to lock.
Half a turn, that's it. Whoa.
Yeah. Doug said it takes some getting used to, but he actually ended up liking it. Said it feels super direct, especially slow speeds, makes the truck feel agile.
Huh. So you don't need to shuffle the wheel much at all.
Exactly. He thinks it totally solves the problems people have with yoke steering wheels because your hands never leave the main position. Plus, it has rear wheel steering, too.
Rear steer and steer by wire.
Mm.
That's some serious tech. Makes sense for maneuvering something that big.
Totally. He seemed genuinely impressed by how nimble it felt because of that system.
Interesting.
Yep.
That could be a game changer if it works well. What else is angular inside?
The cup holders. They're octagonal.
Seriously. Okay.
Door panels, just sharp lines. It's like curves were forbidden.
They really committed to the aesthetic, didn't they?
Oh, and a little Easter egg. Double tap the truck picture on the big screen. It replays the animation of the window breaking from the original reveal.
No way. That's hilarious. Leaning into it.
Totally. The glove box isn't a box either. It's a pull-out tray, open from the screen.
Screen-operated glove tray. Okay.
And that screen rear view mirror we mentioned, you can adjust where it sits vertically on the display. But there is a physical mirror, too, for regulations.
Right. Gotta have one.
But one reviewer, I think it was autofocus, actually took it off, said it blocked too much forward view.
Remove the physical mirror. Wow. That says something about the visibility, maybe.
Yeah. And the suspension. Fully adjustable air suspension.
Nice. How much range?
Goes from a low entry height way up to like 17 inches of ground clearance for off-roading.
17 inches. That's serious clearance.
It is. Controls are minimal, as you'd expect. Turn signals, lights or buttons on the squircle wheel, no stalks.
Buttons for signals. Like Ferrari. Things getting used to, I bet.
Probably. Gear selection is a swipe on the side of the main screen.
Swipe to drive.
The only physical button seems to be the hazard lights, required by law, and the air vents. Invisible, hidden in the dash design.
Very clean look, I imagine. Tesla's good at that.
Yeah. Then there's the front trunk, power operated from the screen.
How big is it?
Not huge, usable though. Has Cybertruck embossed inside. Washer fluid cap is there. But,
Warning. Uh-oh.
Doug pointed out, the lid closes with force, and there's no sensor to stop it if something's in the way.
Ouch. No obstruction detection on a power lid. That seems risky.
Yeah, definitely need to be careful with that. Fingers, groceries, whatever.
Good to know. What about the back seats? Does that crazy roofline kill headroom?
Surprisingly, no. Reviewers said headroom is actually pretty good back there.
Really? Okay, that's a impressive package.
And the rear doors open super wide, like 90 degrees, easy in and out.
Nice. Any goodies for rear passengers?
Yep. Their own little screen. Music, Netflix, YouTube, climate controls. Even the climate on-off button is a hexagon.
Sticking with the theme. And storage.
Yeah, the seat bases lift up for extra hidden storage underneath. Pretty clever.
Okay, so the interior sounds
Yeah.
very Tesla, very angular, but maybe more practical in some ways than you'd expect.
Yeah, I think so. All right, so what's it like on the road, the actual driving experience?
The big question.
First impression from Doug, plain cool. Even if you think it's ugly, it's undeniably cool in motion, and the attention.
Oh, I bet. Nonstop photos.
Constantly. He said it was like being a celebrity. People pulling out phones, pointing everywhere. It's an event.
You definitely wouldn't blend in, that's for sure. Might get old for some people.
Could do. And that steer-by-wire. Doug really emphasized how good it felt after adjusting. Makes the truck feel nimble, not like a huge barge at low speeds.
Nimble is not a word I'd associate with a 7,000-pound truck.
Right. But that system, combined with the rear steering, apparently does the trick, handling otherwise. Better than expected for the size and weight, he said, but obviously not sporty.
Makes sense. It's still a massive, heavy thing. What about acceleration?
The standard dual motor, which is like 600 horsepower, 0-60 in maybe 3.9 seconds, Doug just called it just fine.
Just fine. 600 horsepower is just fine.
Well, compared to the Cyber Beast version, that's the tri-motor, like 835 horsepower, 0-60 under 2 seconds, supposedly.
Right, that's plaid territory, ludicrous speed.
Exactly. Range figures. Dual motors rated around 320 miles, but realistically maybe 290.
Real world, always less.
Tri-motors rated around 300, probably closer to 265, 275 in reality. And apparently it doesn't charge as fast as some other Teslas.
Interesting, despite maybe having that 800-volt architecture.
Yeah, autofocus mentioned the 800V system as a big tech plus, allows for higher voltage, faster charging potential. But maybe the current chargers or software don't fully use it yet?
Could be. Future improvement, maybe. Towing.
Both versions rated up to 11,000 pounds. Pretty respectable.
Matches conventional trucks then. But the price?
Yeah, way higher than they first announced, like 20K, 40K or more, depending on the spec.
Ouch. That changes the calculation for a lot of people.
For sure. They say a cheaper single-motor version is coming in 2025, but skepticism abounds. Doug sounded doubtful.
Yeah, Tesla timelines can be flexible.
Yeah.
It's huge, right? And heavy.
Oh, yeah. Over 224 inches long, weighs around 6,900 pounds. It's a beast. And currently, North America only. Regulations are tricky elsewhere.
Makes sense. That design probably doesn't meet pedestrian safety rules in Europe, for example.
Could be. Also missing features at launch. Big ones.
Like what?
Full autopilot isn't active yet, just adaptive cruise. No full self-driving. No diff locks for off-roading yet. All promised via updates. Eventually.
Ah, the Tesla coming soon strategy. Pay now, get features later.
Pretty much. And accessories, too, like the range extender battery pack or the roof light bar. Not available yet.
So still a bit of a work in progress, software-wise.
Seems like it. On the plus side, Doug raved about the sound system, said it's one of the best in any truck.
Okay, good audio is always nice.
And that air suspension we mentioned. Lots of travel, adjustable height, and surprisingly little body roll. Even has an extraction mode to lift it super high if you get stuck.
Extraction mode. Sounds dramatic. Useful, though.
But back to visibility issues, Doug really hammered the point about the physical rearview mirror blocking the view, making the screen mirror essential.
Right, the one the other reviewer removed.
Yeah, and those big A-pillars definitely create blind spots. Even the sun visors are weird. You pull them down initially, and they reveal more windshield before covering it.
Okay, that's just quirky design.
So, overall takeaways. Both Doug and autofocus kind of landed in a similar place. It's more of a lifestyle vehicle right now.
Less work truck, more statement piece. Expensive toy.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Relies heavily on that cool factor. The public reaction is undeniable. Doug gave it a 73 out of 100 on his scale, which beat other trucks mainly because the weekend score, the coolness was so high.
But he thought the Rivian might ultimately score higher once the novelty wears off.
Yeah, he predicted that. Autofocus also hit on the polarizing looks, but praised the tech underneath that 800V system, the advanced suspension. Though they did note some early build quality things, like panel gaps.
Not surprising for early production Teslas, maybe. But they also said it works well as just a big SUV.
Yeah, that was an interesting point, since most truck owners don't actually do heavy truck stuff all the time. Maybe it functions perfectly well as just a really big, attention-grabbing vehicle for people and gear.
That actually makes a lot of sense for how many people use trucks today. It's a different kind of utility.
So, wrapping up this whip check. The Cybertruck is definitely a head-turner. It's packed with interesting tech. The design is unforgettable.
Unforgettable is one word for it. Unique driving experience, too, it sounds like, with that steering.
But it's got its quirks, some definite visibility concerns, and it launched missing some key promised features.
It's a bold move, no doubt. Challenges everything. But comes with trade-offs, especially in this first version.
Which leads to the big question for you listening. When you weigh the radical design, the tech, the undeniable coolness against the high price and the current limitations, does that cool factor make it worth it? What part of the Cybertruck actually grabs you the most? Or maybe worries you the most?
Yeah, it's a fascinating one to think about. Is it the future or a weird detour? If you want to go even deeper, definitely check out those full reviews from Doug Demuro and Autofocus. Lots more detail there to help you make up your own mind.